Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in today's episode, I want to talk about becoming 3 Mile famous. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Fitness Business School podcast, the show for fitness business owners who want to grow their income, increase their impact, and improve their lifestyle. Be sure to listen till the end of this episode because we have a brand new special offer exclusive for listeners. So stay tuned.
Of all the people that I have learned from in the time that I've been in business, and there have been so many guys like Roy H. Williams and Dan Kennedy and Jay Abraham were very early influences in what I learned down the line. But one who's probably been as impactful as any is Dean Jackson, who Dean is a guy who has just really, I think, studied and committed to building marketing around the person that we serve. And that's something that I've just gravitated to quite a bit. And there's so many things that he has shared that I think have been, really profound. Like, he's the guy who originated or invented, or whatever the appropriate term would be, the squeeze page, the landing page for opt-ins. He is the person who started that PS super signature that now that you see so many people use, that has PS whenever you're ready, and then there are varied options available. But there are many other insights and thoughts that Dean has shared over the years that may be a little less well known. And one that I may have heard first from him at a mastermind meeting I've since seen him talk about in a couple different venues is becoming 3 Mile famous for a local business. And I thought was such a good way to articulate something that I think I've always had kind of a loose grasp of. I talk about almost like I've used the phrase being like the mayor of fitness in your community. And I think that that's illustrative of the same type of idea, but I like the language of 3 Mile famous. I think it conveys things very well. And if we think about it in that sense, and you are a local business, especially a local business that is dramatically influenced by convenience. So something where we're going to hope somebody comes to us because it's convenient as part of their decision making. Being 3 Mile famous is such an important way to consider marketing, because there are so many different ways that you can become well known, right? Like, you could just go speak at every type of networking event, every sort of lunch and learn, everywhere that they would accept a speaker. You can pursue the opportunity to speak. You can go around and connect with all the local affinity groups. You can form strategic alliances with complementary businesses. You can do everything from yard signs to supporting local schools and sports organizations. You can be visible in the HOAs. It's not something where we're trapped by only being able to run Facebook ads. And so many people in our industry these days kind of default to saying, oh, I'm just going to run an ad, and oh, it didn't work. Whereas if they instead committed to being 3 Mile famous, man, it would probably be so much more effective, because if you were committed to that, we have so many more options available to us. The things that I just shared are just kind of scratching the surface. But if you think about a local real estate agent, most of the time that's kind of how they approach it, right? They want to be famous in, most of them, if we're talking about a local agent and not a broker or a commercial agent or something like that, most of them kind of want to dominate a particular neighborhood. And if you are interested in dominating a neighborhood, then there there are so many things that you can do if you reverse engineer that. You say, okay, I want to be the most visible person in this neighborhood. I want to be famous in this neighborhood. And now we know the people. We know where they're at. We know, hey, we have this much population. We have all these businesses, these main thoroughfares, these schools, these churches, these organizations, all of these operate in this 3-mile radius. How can I connect? What are there publications that are targeted specifically here? Who has email databases or Facebook groups that work? Are there next door groups? Are there people that run events that I can be a part of? And if we think about it through that lens, it to me, it's kind of liberating as a marketer, because now we're not limited by only really having one tool in the toolbox. Because if you've paid attention online for any length of time, I'm sure you've probably known somebody, or maybe it's happened to you, where an ad account has been shut down or something like that. If we only have that one channel to reach people, we're kind of at the mercy of the people who control that channel. But if you think in terms of, hey, I'm going to be 3-mile famous, I've rattled off probably 12 different tactics that you could deploy, different ways that you could reach people. And I haven't even gotten into things like direct mail or door hangers or billboards or radio spots or any number of other things that you could do. But man, there's almost no limit, because all you have to do is think about it through your own lens. If you think about, okay, here's where I live, what's going on in this 3 miles around me, what all do I see? Where all could I potentially interact? Where do my neighbors shop? Not just where do I shop, but where do all the people in my community shop? Where do the kids here go to elementary school, preschool, middle school, high school? There are all these different ways that people are connected, that people are involved out there in the community. And if you can be visible in all those places, your options become almost limitless, because you have so many, not just distribution channels available to you, but if you combine that with the different things that you could distribute, the different approaches that you could take in leveraging those channels, the combinations leave you with almost an unlimited supply of ways to market and build relationships and ultimately grow a business. So if you want to grow, I would suggest that maybe you change your thinking from, how do I, run this ad that's going to convert for this offer, to how do I become 3-mile famous? And then once all those people become aware of who I am and I have their attention, I invite them to experience what I do. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitness Business School. Before you go, I have a quick announcement. One of the things that we've been doing with our current clients is taking them through this ideal business diagnostic. And really what it is, this checklist that allows you to pinpoint exactly what your business needs next, so you can keep improving, keep growing, and build a business that you love to own. One that pays you well, one that allows you to have the impact you want to have, and one that allows you to have a lifestyle that you truly enjoy. In this diagnostic, we walk through everything and we do an evaluation and can instantly pinpoint what you need to do next to build that business that you want. I'm going to extend this opportunity to get on with either me or my team and take you through this evaluation and fix your business's most vital needs fast. So if we take you through this, you're going to be able to make those vital changes that you need to finally have what I call your ideal business. If you'd be interested in going through this entirely free, risk-free diagnostic with us and learn what you already have in place, what you're doing well, and where your greatest opportunities for rapid improvement are, just shoot me an email with diagnostic in the subject line to pat@patrigsby.com. Again, an email to pat@patrigsby.com with diagnostic in the subject line will get you scheduled and take you through this evaluation to help you build the business you want.